Please welcome Joey Fatone.
Just sit down, relax. It's all good. You heard the song, right? Wasn't NSYNC. Just let you know. Do you know who that was? I was singing that? Wasn't us.
What?
Yeah, you should have put an NSYNC song on. Sukiyaki is the song, by the way, if you didn't hear that. 4 p.m. There you go. Who said it? Smart. I like it. We actually did an acapella version of that, but that was not it. Anyway, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Fabulous. Good. Awesome. Welcome. How are we all feeling today? It's first time doing SteelCon, so thank you guys for having me. It's really appreciative. And
thanks for coming.
No problem.
Really.
My pleasure.
So it's just like hanging out. We'll take some questions.
Yeah.
And first up, I got to ask you though. I read that your dad was in a doo-wop group called the Orions.
Yep. It was close. It was almost like the what is it? The Wonders, and if you like the Oneaters. Very similar. They're called the Orions. Is what the name was. Yeah, it's all good. Orions. They weren't really like famous or anything, but that's kind of how I started really loving doo-wop acapella and all that kind of stuff.
So do you think like your talent for harmony is genetic, or you had to really work at that?
A little bit of both, because my brother's basically tone deaf. He can't kind of sing a lick. So I mean, it kind of hit the family, but not my brother. But me and my sister do sing, and yeah. My brother can carry a tune. He's more technical side. I became more of I guess, entertaining side. I don't know, yeah. But listening to doo-wop stuff in the house and stuff, I always was like, oh, how do you do that? And then he started doing like a couple little things as I got older. There was like this kind of 50s thing that they did this show. And I really got into it, and just listening and going to the rehearsals that he was doing. It was just kind of like, this is awesome. I want to do this for a living. And I got a chance to, so yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
I did something right, I guess.
Yeah. Well, would you mind getting some questions from the folks?
Yeah, anybody have questions, please raise your hand.
Just raise your hand, we'll come around.
It's okay, don't be shy.
Right
it's
here.
right.
They'll open up. Got a question right here on the side.
Your group was like the very, very first one I was like screaming, I'm just excited to see you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So what made you decide to be a singer?
It was weird, because even when I wanted to entertain, I was so nervous to get on stage. Actually, a few of the first times I remember, there was actually a show that I did. I went to Catholic school in New York City, and for the church, my dad would do the kind of like these plays, believe it or not. He loved acting as well, so he would do like these kind of plays to raise money for the church. So the very first time I ever, even before I got singing, I did this. It was a show called About Movies and Music, and they were snippets of like movies, and we would recreate them. So I was Pinocchio. I was really small. I was nervous. I think I even peed myself a little bit. But I remember all I had to do was be underneath this box, come out and say, Papa, which I was so nervous to do. And then when I auditioned, I actually was nervous to even audition stuff in high school. The 2 times I went to go audition, I freaked out. I don't even know why, but I've always been kind of a class clown, always fun, this and that. And then finally I had the chops to do it. And then I did West Side Story in high school. And then once I got that bug to actually do it and finally get the chops and see that my peers and everybody was like, yeah, do it, let's go. Then I got more of chops to go, hey, you know what? And I was fearless after that. I didn't care. Whatever it was, I tried to take it. Ballet, sure, I'll attempt. I can't do it. Save my life. Sure, I'll point my toe. Stuff like that. Just for entertainment. I just loved all forms of entertainment. So I was kind of like a sponge, if you will. So anything with musical theater, anything like, that's kind of really the first and foremost love that I really did was musical theater, because you get to act and you get to sing. So in my high school, we did 3 different productions a year. Usually kids in high school, they do like 1 production for the year. We did a Shakespearean play, a 1-act dramatic play, and then we did a musical. So it was a theater arts program after the first year, our freshman year. So started doing that, and then I joined up with 4 other knuckleheads right after I graduated high school.
Question right back over here. Come on out.
Yes, to piggyback off that, you said you were in West Side Story. So who did you play, and what is your favorite musical of all time?
I played Chino in West Side Story. And then my favorite musical I never even got to do, but my dad did it years ago. It's such a crazy, weird musical to even like, for that matter, because it's an operetta, but it was Pirates of Penzance. Oh, wow. Yep. Anybody remember Linda Ronstadt? Yeah, her. Also Rex Smith, Kevin Kline was in it as well. Angela Lansbury was in it as well. Yeah, it's crazy. It's all coming back to me. Sorry.
Got some questions over here, right here.
So me and my wife, we love you when you get on Impractical Jokers, and I just got to ask, what is that like? How are the guys? I mean, it just seems like it would be a ton of fun.
It's nerve-wracking. I'm not going to lie. I love when people go, oh, I could do that. It's great. Oh, it'll be easy. And then when you get there and they're yelling in your ear, but also on top of that, you're hearing crackling because the audio is not the greatest. So you got to make sure you try to hear them really well. Then you're talking to somebody else and you're trying to improvise at the same time as you're trying to listen to them talk to you back while the guys are feeding stuff in your ears. So you're kind of like confused. It really is. But it's like you have to kind of tune in, turn on, and shut off certain things in your head because it is nerve-wracking. Or it's nerve-wracking because you think someone's going to smack you in your head. Because when I did the Carnegie Deli one, I actually palmed the guy's pastrami. But what a lot of times we do a bunch of other stuff that they edit. I took a fork and ate his pastrami. You didn't see that. But then all of a sudden in my ear, I hear the guys go, don't go back. I go, why? He goes, because they have microphones by the table so they can hear them still talking after I leave. So what happens is the guy goes, he said, I think it was Joe that said it in my ear. He goes, yeah, you don't want to go back there because the guy said if he touches my cheesecake, I'm going to stab him in the effing hand with a fork. So I went, yeah, I'm not going back over there again. Nope. Because then after everything is done with all the people, then they tell them. Because it was such a tight quarters. We're in the Carnegie Deli. So I was with different tables doing it very quickly. Like there's a time, and if you've ever seen it, I take a woman's plate and I'm not supposed to. And they said, oh, she just needs bread. I said, yeah, okay, great. And the other lady's like, no, she's not ready. I walked by once. Joe goes, walk by. I walk by again. I stop. I go, now what? Should I bring the plate? He goes, nope, walk by again. I walk by again with the plate of food, of her food in my hand that is yelling at me going, I'm not done yet. I'm like, yeah, okay, you want bread? Okay, bread. I did it like 5 times. So I felt so bad after the fact. But then, again, when people know what it is and they sign, like, okay, we'll okay it. Don't hit me or don't beat me up. But we are doing, speaking of which, I think it's either next month or the month after. They've been shooting, they're going to start to shoot coming up soon. But I'm doing a full episode with them like they do. They're having other celebrities out there. So I'm doing a complete full episode to where
Nice.
Murr literally says to me, oh, you're getting punished. That's all he said to me. He's like, you're getting punished. I'm like, great, because they know my fears. They know things that will, get me good. So I'm not happy about that because they really don't tell you. There's nothing. They always like whisper to each other too. Like, Q would whisper over to Murr and not say anything, to Sal because the things that they're doing, they really have no idea. They really don't.
Okay, a couple more from this side of the room.
Hi. What made you want to do Masked Singer, and what was your favorite part?
I lost a bet. Just kidding. What they did actually is little hint on something. If you ever watch Dancing with the Stars, the old ones, and have watched Masked Singer, you notice there's a lot of people from Masked Singer, from Dancing with the Stars that were on it, previous people. I think because the casting was the same casting people as Masked Singer. But I was like a last thing because I don't think they thought that I was, first of all, in LA when I was at the time. And I don't know if they think or even thought about me doing it. So there was one last person. I was like, I think the last person they picked. And they had 2 different characters. And they're like, hey, there's a show called Masked Singer. I think my manager basically prepped me on it. Was like, you could sing, but you're going to be in a costume. I'm like, what? So I watch it, and there's a Korean or I can't remember if it was a Japan or Korean version of it, where they had like these robes, but it was just like a really cheesy mask, just a flat mask. But they go, we're going to make these masks elaborate. So the pictures they showed me was the rabbit was one of them in a straitjacket. And then the other one was this weird alien with these huge like black antennas that came completely out almost like spider. And I'm like looking at it going, there's no way I'm going to dance in that thing or move around. I'm going to knock everything over. So people thought, it'd be funny if you're in a big suit. I'm like, I've done characters before. I worked at Disney. I worked at Universal in those outfits, and I know how hot they are. So I was like, yeah, straight jacket, gloves, jeans, just a rabbit hat. I'm good. So, and that's kind of what it was. And they're always like, the very first season, nobody knew really what was going on or what to do. So they were like, be the rabbit. And I'm going, what does that mean exactly? What do you mean, be a rabbit? I'm going to hop around. I'm not hopping around everywhere. So, of course, with the straight jacket, I came up with the Twitch. And that's kind of how it happened. And how it happened was I watched America's Got Talent, and there was this young lady that was a magician. And she looked like The Ring. She had the hair down, and she would do the cards, but she would twitch. And I was like, I'm stealing that. So, yeah. I know when people would say, oh, it was my method acting. I was, straight. No, I saw somebody and I copied it. That's what I did.
Another question back here.
I enjoy your show, Common Knowledge. And I have a question about the Game Show Network. I always wondered, are all the shows filmed in the same studio with just different backgrounds, or how's that work?
It looks like the same setup, doesn't it? Believe it or not, I know myself and America Says, when Common Knowledge America Says, they shot basically in the same studios, but different studio stages. Because while I was shooting mine, Michael was shooting his. So they're definitely different stages, but they love the fact, and you can see a lot of game shows are very simple with the round or, kind of the two podiums, because it just works. A lot of people love it. It's the old school kind of feel to it as well. But like, I think Catch 21 a few times have shot in Vegas. A couple other shows, 1 or 2 other shows, they did shoot in Vegas, and then some of them are in LA, and that's where we shot.
Question down the middle.
Hi, Joey.
Hello again.
Of all the NSYNC albums, including the Winter album, yes, I know the Winter album, which is your favorite?
The album, which is my favorite album?
Yes, of all the albums.
I think No Strings Attached, I think, would be my favorite one. I mean, if I'm sentimental, the first one, because it was our baby. But, we did the same songs for the American album. It was like the European album, too. So, No Strings Attached.
Wait, what's that?
Is it the first one with the checkerboard from Europe or the one with the flame from America?
One of the Flames from America. Because you got the I Need Love and Riddle and all that stuff on the European album that we don't want. Negative. I need love. No, it's awful.
And right over on the far side.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Following up on the NSYNC question. Okay, No Strings Attached is my favorite album, but what's your favorite NSYNC song?
I thought she knew.
Wait, can I say something?
I'm waiting, yes.
Because this is what I was going to say when I go get my picture with you. Your part, and I thought she knew, was the best part out of the whole song. Like the best. Yes, was it? The best. Oh my God. Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Yeah, it's crazy, the whole story about that one, because I Thought She Knew was actually one of the first a cappella songs we learned prior to. It never went on the first album. I think it was on No Strings, I think it is? Yeah. Yeah. So the cool thing about that is our old vocal coach, rest her soul, she passed away due to cancer, but she was our vocal coach. She's the one that actually kind of set up our NSYNC sound, like what we sound like because of the harmonies. So Robin Wiley, she wrote a song called I Thought He Knew. And it was a song with music and everything. And then when we met her for the first time, she says, I need to rearrange something. I was like, what? She goes, I need you to sing this. And she handed it to us and did all the parts, and we turned it into I Thought She Knew.
Wow.
So, yeah, thank you.
Nice. Another question back here.
Hey, Joey, I know you're a practical joker. Is there any practical jokes that you played on the guys from NSYNC?
Yeah, they're awful. I didn't do it, but I helped. Poor Lance. Chris Kirkpatrick. That son of a gun. What a pain in the butt he is. Love him to death. We were in Germany one time, and this is a mean trick what he did, and I'm going to say it. We were at a restaurant or something, and we had ice cream or something after. We had dessert or something, and we're eating ice cream. So Lance got up and went to the bathroom. And there was I don't know why, but there were candles. It was kind of darker and dim, but it had like candles, like ambiance in the restaurant. And here's the sundae with the spoon, and Chris just went and moved the spoon over the flame. And it sat there for a while. Lance was in the bathroom for a little bit of a time. He went back, he sat down, he just went, because it was sitting there for a long time. Obviously, we were young, we're stupid. He got a 3rd-degree burn, and we chuckled. But we play stupid jokes. Like one time, I remember we did something where I think it was like, all right, we're going to pretend to fall, and we're all going to fall when we come out of this. It was a TV show, and it was something in Europe or something like that, and I can't remember. So all of us in a straight line, and we're like, JC, you're going to trip, and we'll all trip out and pretend like we all fell. It'd be really funny. We didn't tell him that nobody else was doing it. So he went out and tripped on the floor by himself and, and just kept walking. Cruel, cruel things to people. Yeah.
Right over here.
Hey, I was just wondering if you still keep in touch with people from the NSYNC.
Hate them all. They all stink. No, Chris, I just saw he did the show with me at Epcot. I did at the Food and Wine Festival. Have you ever seen Epcot at the Food and Wine Festival? There's a whole thing that they do, this kind of concert series called Eat to the Beat. So they have like 98 Degrees, Boys to Men, a whole bunch of different acts. So we went up and I did since NSYNC didn't really doing anything together as a group. So I was like, I'd love to do something called Joey Fatone and Friends, where other celebrities get up and perform. So I was just working with Chris the other day. I just saw Lance not too long ago. Justin actually was in Orlando. He was playing golf, so I saw him. He was hanging out. So we still keep in contact. We're all on a group text as well. So we all yell at each other. Huh? No, the squirrel doesn't get credit on that show. Upstage me, that darn squirrel. We were doing the show, and all of a sudden the squirrel, I found out his name is Sparky. He lives there. A squirrel, as we were literally doing the show at Epcot, all of a sudden everybody starts going, oh, you guys are great. Never mind. And all the cameras went somewhere. I'm like, what is going on? And on the speaker, like say the speaker's right here, literally a squirrel will stand there with a fry in its mouth just looking at us. But apparently he hangs out there, so he's not afraid of anybody. So I was like, move, and it wouldn't move for a minute. I'm like, okay, I start getting closer, and then it finally started running. But it ran on the stage, jumped on the drum riser, ran around a little bit, and then we scurried it off. But I started singing, thought I was Snow White, like I can talk to the animals, but it didn't work out.
On the far side.
Hi, Joey.
Hello.
I absolutely love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I grew up listening to NSYNC, and I was wondering what was the hardest song for you to sing in the choreographic?
The one that was always the pain in the butt to dance, because it was right out of the gate, and it was like, good morning, was No Strings Attached. It was like, dun, 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 and we're just constantly, it's the first song, so the choreograph that, and then towards the end when you do Bye Bye Bye, because it's the last song, and I'm exhausted, so my legs are killing me, so to do the dance, you're like, oh my God, it hurts so bad. Yes, I did cry a lot. Wait, what was the other question, though? What was the hardest one to sing? That's tough. The acapellas were. Just because, you had, Chris was the high part, he was singing up here. You had JC and Justin, which they were switching leads and take the harmony below that. So, and then there was Lance. My silly butt had the baritone parts, and if anybody ever sing a cappella or anything like that, my notes were very barbershop-ish, to where the chords are literally rubbing together and they're on top of each other. So sometimes I had sometimes when we did a cappella, I had to stand in certain areas or certain places. So sometimes when someone's singing on here on this side, someone's singing the other place, and I need to listen more of this note than that note, and I hear that note, I sometimes go flarp, which is flat and sharp at the same time. It's pretty amazing. Not many people can do it, because you really can't, but I think I can. But yeah, sometimes the acapella stuff was a little difficult because we did a lot of intricate harmonies to it. So that was like, I Thought You Knew, Oh Holy Night, even Sailing, stuff like that. But as, of course, we learn it and it's, second nature, it comes out. So it's pretty good. It's fun. Tough, but fun.
And right here, down the middle.
Hi. Again, thank you for the middle school trauma fixing all that for me. I appreciate it greatly.
You're welcome.
If you could have been in any other boy band, which one would it be and why?
Not one. No shot. I'd be my own band. I'd call myself the Fatones.
Right down here, we got two
Menudo. I'd be in Menudo.
Oh, there you go.
Or I'd be in the Temptations. How about that? I'd be a band. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a Backstreet Boy. That's for damn sure. Oh, I could say that. They're my friends. You can record it and play it for them too. I don't care. Nick's a good friend of mine, even though I think he stinks.
Hi again, Joey. I just want to ask, what is your most favorite, earliest memory of NSYNC?
Probably the first... that's tough. I think maybe the first time we ever performed was at Pleasure Island. It was one of the first performances ever that we did to shoot like a video to promote and send it to a record company and say, hey, sign us. But it was weird. It was like one of those, I remember Chris was about to throw up. He was so nervous because he's never performed like that in front of people. He's singing Hollywood High Tones at Universal, an a cappella group, but he never completely different with original songs, something completely different like that. And, two of the guys, JC and Justin, were in the Mickey Mouse Club. They were doing that. Lance was doing Attaché over in Mississippi, and I was working at Universal as well. So it was different. It was weird, yeah. It was one of those first moments ever. It was pretty amazing. Super Bowl is something that always will be embedded in my brain when we did with Aerosmith. That was kind of cool. Like, stuff like that is just weird, when it's a surreal moment. So, people that are out there that are around my age and older, like we were rehearsing one time at the Grammys, and we're literally in our bathroom dressing room because it had good acoustics. So as we're singing, we're doing this a cappella breakdown that we're rehearsing for to go out there for the show. And all of a sudden, Paul Simon walks in. Yeah, meanwhile, in our dressing room and then in our bathroom. So if you don't know who Paul Simon is, Simon and Garfunkel, the Sound of Silence, young kids out there, never mind. But he walks in and we just stop and I just look at him like, grabs Paul Simon. And he literally goes, no, keep going. That's why I came in. You guys just sound incredible. I'd love to just listen. We're like, oh, okay. Like a total dork, stuff like that. Or like we did one time, we were doing Trash in the Camp for Tarzan. We were doing the soundtrack for them, but I had no idea that we were actually doing it with Phil Collins. So when we get in the studio, Phil's sitting there, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Phil Collins, dude. And then he comes in the booth, he goes, yeah, I'm going to sing this with him. I'm like, he's going to sing it with us too. So it's like, for me, I don't know, I love it because it never gets old for me. I'm like, oh yeah, hi Paul, how are you? Or you're like, hey, Janet Jackson. No, it's freaking Janet Jackson. It's that kind of stuff. It's my childhood. It's interesting to see that where you were, you looked up to these people. And then not to say you become these people, but you're kind of on that same pier. But then it's interesting when you see the younger generation come in. It reminds me of a story real quick where one time I was introducing, this is after NSYNC, I was hosting this show. It was like this DJ convention, but it's more like a radio convention kind of thing. It's in Atlantic City. And these new up-and-coming artists come out. And I grabbed the cue card, and I'm like, okay, this girl's from New York, blah, 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 blah. She's started doing stuff. And I saw her backstage. I'm like, this girl has a cane that's lit up with these glass. I'm like, what the hell is this woman doing? I'm like, give it up for Lady Gaga. Don't know. It's the first time she ever did the disco stick, blah, 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 blah. I go off stage. I go, hey, Lady Gaga, nice to meet you. She goes, Joe, you don't remember me? I'm like, no. She goes, you let me into the club when I was underage at a club called Suede in New York City. I used to promote a club when I was doing Rent. She used to come to the club all the time. Had no clue. None. Dark hair, very quiet, but said hi to her, but never knew who she was in that sense. And now she's Lady Gugats. It's amazing.
Over here is another good question.
Hi, Joey.
Hello.
I seen you did back sync with Lance, AJ, and Nick.
That's AJ's mind. Go ahead. I'll fill in on that in a second.
Is there going to be a chance of maybe doing more of that and maybe like a small tour?
I love how AJ likes to embellish things, and nobody ever said anything. He's like, yeah, back sync, and they were going to do an album. The minute he said that, people rolled with it. But we did that for Pride. But we do a show the show that I do is called After Party. And what I did is, it's almost kind of like a Rat Pack thing. And we've done this a few times. It's a lot of fun. It's myself, Wanye Morris from Boyz II Men, and Nick Carter and AJ came out to do it a few times. But we've done it as well other places. And we've done more like private events. But it was the coolest thing because people have never seen that before. You would see me, Wanye, Nick, and AJ singing pop, singing Larger Than Life, singing Motown Philly. So we're singing each other's songs together. And there was a bar on stage, which AJ did not drink. But we were on stage, and it was just a cool vibe because everybody would sit there, we'd watch each other. And then I called up a bunch of my friends and said, hey, would you love to do this? And I'm shocked that they said yes. I had Luis Fonsi sing Despacito. He came out as a surprise guest. Julio came out as a surprise guest, did Gangsta's Paradise. Ray Parker Jr. came out and did Ghostbusters. I had Bobby Brown come out and do My Parade. It was crazy, the stuff that was going on. And we started doing stuff like that. So it's more like a Rat Pack vibe. If we ever do that, I'd love to do another Pride thing with them again, but me and Nick have been doing stuff now, and we do that kind of party. So hopefully we'll get to do more after parties and bring more people in. A couple of weeks ago, I did a private event, and it was, again, it's completely a different group of people sometimes. It was myself. It was a 4th of July thing we did. It's myself, Wanye, Sean from Boyz II Men, Dee Schneider from Twisted Sister, and Jeff Timmons from 98 Degrees. What? Random, but exactly. That's what's fun about it. Another one I'm doing not too long, not in the far future, is with Scott Stapp from Creed. So we're mixing this rock, pop, and all this stuff, and have fun with it. It's like kind of like, why not? So I'd love to. If we have a chance to do it, heck yeah.
Question right here.
Do you ever plan to go back to Broadway?
I'd like to. I've actually had conversations. I was going to audition, and then the pandemic hit again, like when they were like, oh, the shows are open. No, they're closed. No, they're open. No, they're closed. No, you wear a mask. I'm like, I'm not. Wait until you're all done, then I'll come out and audition or something like that. But I would love to go and do Beetlejuice. I watched the show. I've seen the show twice now. It's ridiculously fun. It's just fun. People are like, that's not the movie. It doesn't matter. It's fun. But it's cool because Beetlejuice gets to kind of literally do whatever, break the fourth wall, talk to the audience, change things around when he wants to. So Alex Brightman is doing it right now. It's absolutely amazing, but I would crush that role.
Let's go to the... Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, no, just say.
Other side of the room for a question.
Hi, Hi, Joey. So just fun Pittsburgh NSYNC fact. And do we all remember the No Strings Attached tour? I do because I was there. It was you do it. You guys were the first.
Yep, I'm going to cut you off. Ready?
I know.
We closed
Three Rivers,
and we opened up Heinz.
Yeah.
We were the
That's right.
band, the only band to do that. As far as musical acts, obviously not sports, but yeah, we literally closed it and it was done. And then all of a sudden we came back, I guess, a year later or two, whatever, and then opened up Heinz, which was dope. I remember, was there a question? You just wanted to... I love the stating facts. I'm with you on that one. I remember. Me and you.
Okay, we want to switch back over here.
Yep.
Hi, Joey.
Hello.
Do you ever look back on some of your outfits and go, what was I thinking? Because I watched
You stop yourself, but that's exactly what I thought. What the
I watched the Disney special with you guys when you guys were in Orlando, and it's hot there. And you guys were wearing like winter clothes, Columbia boots.
I had Jenko purple velvet pants on. JC was wearing like a vest or something. We were dumb. That was the dumbest. Yeah, there's a few outfits that we all frown upon or look confused. I mean, again, there's nothing wrong when you're going on a performance in a show and you got sparkles and this and that, but not when you're doing a smaller show and you're like blinged out beyond. Yeah, it looks stupid. I don't know. Don't ask. We've worn a lot of weird outfits. I apologize, everyone.
Off to the other side of the room, right down there.
Hey, Joey. So we get starstruck meeting you. What is your biggest starstruck moment that is the most memorable to you?
We were on tour with NSYNC. This is when we were just still doing theaters. We weren't even that like huge or anything like that. We weren't even doing arenas. I think we were just doing theaters, small theaters. And I met one of my childhood heroes, and I just stood there and I didn't say anything, and everybody just looked at me, and I'm like, what? Like, let me enjoy it. This is cool. It was Christopher Reeves.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was after his accident, which would suck. But he was in a wheelchair. His son was there, and his wife was there. And he gave me a picture, and his wife signed it. She's legalized to sign his name, and it said, "From one Superman to another, Chris Reeves." And it was like, that's like, again, I was speechless. I was like, like so stupid. Or like the first time I ever met one of my other, like my crush was like Soleil Moon Frye, Punky Brewster. First time I ever met her, I was like, oh. I mean, we're friends now, but at first I was like, oh, I used to love you. Or Alyssa Milano, people like that. You know, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. You know, meeting Michael, Michael Jackson, the first time I remember was kind of, he's like a kid. He is. He's just bug-eyed, very quiet. But you're like, dude, it's crazy. I'm standing here with him. It's odd. It's weird. It's weird. It is. It's one of those surreal moments, There's so many people. Like another one where I didn't even care that the guy was basically telling me no, not to take a picture, and I did. We were at the White House. Weird enough. Sounds like, we were at the White House chilling. But it was VH1 Save the Music. They were doing this whole charity thing, and we came out, and I remember the weather was getting bad, so they did this whole tent. It was inside. But I grabbed this guy, and I go, hey. And it was one of the wind-up old photos. So he's literally like in mid, like to talk. And it was Robert De Niro. And I was like, I don't care if you're going to tell me no or yes. I'm like, click. Thank you. And so I know how y'all feel sometimes when you want to see somebody, you try to grab a picture. Yeah, that was me too. Some people are nice and some people are not.
Way in the back, we got time for just a few more questions.
Hi, Joey. I heard that you guys were extras in the Star Wars prequels. Did any of that get into your footage making the movies?
Nope. Well, the whole story is they said that Star Wars fans got mad that we were in it. There was 3 of us that went, and my brother. There was 4 of us, and I believe it was myself, Chris, JC, my brother, and me. I think because Justin wasn't there, and I don't think I can't remember something else. It was 3 of us, I believe. But we went to ILM. We happen to know, basically the long story short, Rick McCallum, who's the producer of Star Wars, the gentleman that married, I guess, his sister, the husband, we've met a few times. He's like, hey, come to the ranch. I'm like, yeah, you're full of crap. We thought he was lying. So we stayed at Skywalker Ranch that night, did a tour the next day, and then the day after that, they're like, we need, because a lot of times when they do a lot of like other insert scenes and stuff like that, they need people, and a lot of times they'll take the people from ILM that work there and just throw them in there. So it's not really actors, it's just extra people that are working. They will literally go, okay, here, put on the robe, and then go on the green screen, then they'll add them in. So the one that we're in, I believe it's the episode 1 where the big, I think it's episode 1, where the big fight scene is happening. No, 2. It's in 2. Episode 2, I believe. Where they have the big arena, that arena, and then there's one other scene where Yoda is walking with Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, down the hallway, down this corridor when Yoda's floating on that little disc thing. People are that much of geeks I am. There were scenes that we stood in, and the crazy thing is they documented all of it. Since we were SAG, we only signed a confidentiality, and since we were SAG, they would have to pay us SAG, but I don't think Lucas's films are even SAG. Majority, they shoot in the UK and other places. So they, for some reason, literally kicked us out of the film. And I know some people that have saw some of the footage. My hair was shaved really, really short. This is right after I did in my Big Fat Greek wedding and a bunch of stuff. For some reason, my hair was really, really short. But supposedly one of the people that was one of the wardrobe people that saw the scene that we were in, I had a huge mohawk. They added a mohawk to my head or something like that. And I remember I've gotten interviewed so many different times because people are still trying to find where we were. Supposedly we are somewhere in it, but it's we're minuscule of it in there somewhere. But even George Lucas came out and directed. I was like, George directed me. It's yes. And all he did was go, yeah, just stand there. Okay, George. So, but yeah, the only thing I ever got out of it, I had the Padawan tail that they glued to my head. That's the only thing that I was able to get. Trust me, I wanted to steal everything. But they literally were like, everything is barcoded and scanned. I was like, darn it. So yeah, but yeah, we did do. We have footage and everything as far as pictures of us being there, but we weren't allowed to take pictures in the costume. weren't allowed to take pictures in when they were actually shooting. But I have some things that took really quickly that I'd get in trouble if I posted them.
Anything else? We got time for a couple more questions.
Let's do it.
You're headed back to your table to sign after this, or photo op?
Yes. Table.
Table. You're back to your table. So if you didn't have
wherever
chance,
they tell me.
That's good. Let's get a couple more questions in. One way in the back.
I have a question. Are you going to expand your hot dog from around here?
I'd love to. Anybody know I opened up a place called Fat Ones. Took my last name, separated it. You got hot dogs. So that's what I did. I had it in the Florida Mall in Orlando. Wasn't making any money, breaking out even, just because it's just the kiosk there was so expensive. So I started doing a food truck. Right now, I just have one food truck. We all want a hot dog. If I had the food truck here, I would. Buy you one, but it ain't a Fat Ones. But we started to we only have one food truck.
What? Did you shut it? No.
Get the hell off the stage.
There you go. Don't do that to me.
So I want to do more. I would love to do a freestanding store, like a Five Guys, kind of that kind of size to do something, and then hopefully branch out. I haven't really branched out yet. I really want to take my time. I hate when people take their celebrity name and slap something on and go, oh, it's going to be great. And they don't know about the product. They don't know about anything. I did this from the ground up. I literally sat there and ate so many freaking hot dogs to figure out which one's a byproduct, which one's 100% beef, Angus beef, tofu. You name it, we've eaten it. So I've gone literally to go down to the lengths of knowing what the flavors are, knowing and even making the different things. We actually had one which was awesome, and I want to bring it back. For the food truck, we can't do it because of the limitations of making stuff, but we would do a flight of mini hot dogs and call it a boy bander. They were 5 hot dogs, and they were all different samples of what was on the menu, which was really cool. I want to bring that back at a couple. I did a pressed one, which was like a Cuban sandwich and a Reuben sandwich, but with a hot dog. So yeah, it was fun. It's fun.
Let's nail one more question, and he's going to head back to his table, and let's do it.
Hi there. So I was just wondering, the life of a musician is so much more than just music and choreography. You've got marketing, post-production, shooting the videos, getting yourself out there, the media being both, in your
so
favor
much fun.
And a detractor. Yeah, social media, which I'm sure you can say the same thing of. What was it like to be NSYNC in the 90s and the early 2000s for you and your friends?
Amazing. That's because people enjoyed the concert. They didn't have their phones completely up videotaping the whole concert. And there's nothing wrong with it, but you miss the show. You're watching it through your phone. Enjoy the concert. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. That's the only thing with social media. I love social media, don't get me wrong. But I think there's just a lot where you're not enjoying the moment anymore. People are too busy on their phones, and I'm guilty as charged. Same thing. My dumb butt is like, Elton John, I'm videotaping this. Seriously, but I take a clip of it and I do it. I love when people do the whole concert and you're like, when you watch it back, nobody's going to watch it because it's like, oh, did you see that? And they're talking and they're looking at the phone. I mean, it's all over the place. So my thing is back in the day, it was a little more simplistic, to where, and also back in the day, you used to go out to buy the CD. It was an event to do something like that. Now you just, no, it didn't. You just go blip, and there you go. You can watch it, you can listen to it, you can see it, which I love that for some people that maybe cannot go to these concerts, maybe might not be mobile to be able to do stuff like that, which is amazing. But it's also the flip side of it is that weirdness and stuff. And I'm sure a lot of us would have got a lot in trouble by somebody taking a picture of something, somebody drinking underage, I'm sure which never happened. But stuff like that, But it was a cool time. It was like, I don't know. It was just a fun. I mean, a lot of people that were raised in the '90s. I mean, how many people love that raised? '90s and 2000. How great were those years?
Well, thank you so much for coming out. What a pleasure, Joey Fatone. You know what to do. Come on.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Give it up.
Say hi. It's okay. I don't bite all the time. Thank you guys again. Appreciate
Once more. Joey Fatone headed back to his table to sign. Give it up. He's still in the room.
Hi, this is Aaron Ashmore, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe like now. Oh, and have fun and follow your fandom.